Okay, so this is just technically me explaining the characters of Secret Stars slash Nebula Novalight AU. Starting off with the twins who are in the Nebula Novalight AU, Yuno and Faye. Faye and Yuno are the older siblings to Yamiko, meaning that just like Yamiko, they are the ancestors to Newton, Delta, Amara, Tudor, and Lorelie. However, similarly to Lorelie and Amara, they were killed in front of Yamiko, rest in peace. However, instead of reappearing as actual normal spirits in the Secret Stars AU, aka where the Lunar's True Purpose storyline takes place, dimension wise, they end up in the dimension where cosmic duality and takes place in, and they decide to just stay there since the other forgotten symbols, which are Ember and Phoenix, they are also there. And of course, Faye ends up becoming good friends with Ghost and Wendy. Somehow, it's probably because of her gentle nature. However, similarly to how Ghost goes to see Allison, I don't know if I am allowed to say that, but I apologize in advance for that part. Faye and Yuno can go see Yamiko, and every single time, Faye makes sure Sun and Yuno are away from each other because those two hate each other. Kind of similarly to how Lorelai doesn't like Sun, but that I'll explain that later. Reason being, Sun is just flat out jealous every single time Yuno is around Kittily, since Yuno is a full-on gentleman when it comes to women. Meanwhile, Yuno just doesn't like Sun because of the stuff he has done to Lunar in the actual comic. So yeah, at that moment in time, Yuno and Sun's conflict is the only one that actually has a reason. Moving on, we have okay, who do we have next actually? Next up, I checked actually. Next up is Delta. Delta is the third oldest, making her the middle child. Age wise, it goes Newton, Tudor, Lorelei, Delta, then Amara. And let's just say she's basically like almost identical when it comes to like info as Newton. She, just like Newton, she is gender fluid and can change from a female to a male. Her male form being called Mercury, while of course Newton's female form is Venus. Delta has a child called Autumn, like she adopted wise, she's got a child called Autumn. But in the future, she and her girlfriend Dawnmist have two other children called Astro, who's a girl, and Sol, who's a boy, of course. And she is one of the people in the Secret Stars lore who gets deceived by the main antagonist, Lumix. Besides Newton, of course. And she ends up paying the price the most for no apparent reason at all. And similarly to Newton, she ends up watching Rez actually take Amara's life right in front of them. All because I'm doing nothing. And I mean nothing. One of the reasons why I want to dropkick Rez. Anyway. But yeah, long story short, Delta is gender fluid, just like Newton's, extremely similar to Newton. Moving on, we've got the baby sister, aka the youngest of the group, who again was executed by Rez for no apparent reason, Amara. Amara is a full-on sweetheart, honestly. She doesn't really have much going on for her. she doesn't actually have powers that, well, her family's aware of. However, I've actually never said this about Amara, but she has something called a siren's song, in which being she can use her voice to hypnotize people like a siren could. No one in her family knows she can do this except her girlfriend, who she ends up meeting as she's exploring the afterlife, who's a succubus. Don't know why, but she is. She ends up coming back in the lore thanks to Lunar and Allison. Allison, reason being she was the first one to actually see Amara as a ghost, and basically she was Allison's imaginary friend for a bit until she revealed herself to Lunar, and then with the help of Lunar and Allison, she revealed herself to Delta and Newton. But yeah, that is basically what I've got for Amara so far. Then we have the ancestor who still resides in Lunar's True Purpose Secret Stars, Yamiko, who is representative of the first star symbol, of the Star Dream, first gens. Her siblings, Yuno and Faye, being the frost droplet. Yamiko, she's just Yamiko, honestly. She's shy. When she became the first ever Stardream star, she was quite, how do I put it? She faced a lot of backlash due to her species. But with the help of, like, the other symbols, especially Shinji and Arel being the ancestor to Amara, who is the one who gives Newton the Stardream symbol of the diamond in the Stardream in the Secret Stars Stardream saga. And she, honestly, if I had to put it into, like, short terms when it comes to her role in the lore, especially in the Stardream saga, she plays a key role in that saga. I mean, because she is a Stardream first gen, but still. And yeah. But the reason why she doesn't talk about her siblings to Newton or any of the other of her grandkids is because, like I said, Yuno and Faye are technically dead, mainly because no one knows who actually killed them, but similarly to Delta and Newton seeing Amara get executed in front of them, Yamiko watched her eldest siblings get executed for no reason at all. No one knows who done it, even Yamiko doesn't remember who done it, mainly but that's probably because of the trauma clouding her memory. So, like, we can't blame her for that. But overall, Yumiko, similarly to Amara, she's just like a sweetheart. She's a good grandmother to the Newton and his siblings. Speaking of siblings, we can move on to the final two now, starting off with Lorelie, the fourth member of Newton's family to have actually been executed by an antagonist. Lorelie was executed again, like I said, by Lumix for no apparent reason, in front of Tudor. And honestly, that took a worse toll on the poor guy, but I'll explain on his segment, which will be the final segment. Lorelie, she's a handful, if like a family described it. She's the second character to be in a conflict with Sun. Sun and Lorelai's conflict reason is unknown. My character Crimson, who lives in the back of my mind, just theorizes that they might be exes, but who knows? I haven't actually made a canon yet. But there is a chance that the reason why. Oh, wait, hold on. Anyway, after that, some people, as in like myself and the characters who live in my head rent free, the reason why Sun doesn't like Lorelie is because of like similarly to a certain Yuno, full on jealousy because of Lorelie actually being friends with Kittily. Best friends actually, similarly to Amara being friends with Kittily. I haven't actually mentioned that in Amara segment, but still. Besides the theory on Lorelie and Sun being exes, but again, that's still unknown to this day, currently. And honestly, she also is the only one to technically stand out the most out of everyone in her family when it comes to her siblings, because of her not actually having the same like headpiece as everyone else. And looking more like one of her other relatives. I will not say who. Yet. But yeah. And now I can move on to the final sibling and the final segment of the video, Tudor, who honestly is the most traumatized. So as far as lore wise of all the characters I'm aware of, Tudor is the only one to canonically have PTSD. And he is also the one who'd probably get mistaken to being Newton's twin instead of Lorelai's twin. Because of him looking like basically a full-on clone of Newton, if Newton was blue. um, and reason being, well, we already know that Jude ended up watching Lumix kill Lorelei in front of him. And the reason why I said in Lorelei's segment that it took a worse toll on him was because it made him develop PTSD from it. And almost every single night he has nightmares and he hallucinates shadows around him, whispering that it should have been him to be killed by Lumix and not Lorelei. And one of those shadows looks awfully similar to Newton and nobody knows why. Everyone in his family, including Newton, have recommended him to go see a therapist, but he keeps denying it. And when Lorelei comes back from the dead, he goes on a bit of how do I put it? Mix between a mental breakdown and a midlife crisis. Yeah. And Tudor does have a partner who canonically doesn't have a design yet. Out of all the characters, in which being Nico. His boyfriend's called Nico. Yes, it is. Yeah, Nico. And honestly, Nico acts similarly to Lunar when it comes to simping. But yeah. Tudor also likes trying to be taller than Newton by wearing platform boots, despite the fact literally Tudor and Newton are the exact same height. And yet Tudor's still wanting to be taller than him. And as far as I'm aware, age-wise, both Lorelei and Tudor are younger than Newton by around 11 months to a year. So yeah, that's basically what I've got for all the characters so far. Got interrupted 2 times there, but that's fine. But yeah, got there in the end, and that's basically me explaining them to all the characters to the best of my ability. I might do an explanation of the partners of some of the characters once Nico gets a design, of course. But I don't know yet. But meh, who knows? I only did this because like I said in the comment section of my voice claim thing, I was going to do it if I had motivation, but I persuaded myself to do it now since it's still in my head. So yeah, that's the explanation of the ancestors and siblings of Newton in the Secret Stars AU, or if you're Yuno and Faye, Nebula and Novalight. But yeah, bye.